When you stop and think about it, it gives you cause to think. So, I spent 30 years in the Air Force, and I was by trade a fighter pilot, and I started out flying F-100s in Vietnam. I spent 10 years flying the A-10, and these plaques are from when I was Deputy Commander for Operations at England Air Force Base. And then when I was here, I was the Wing Commander of the 11th Air Control Wing, and as such, I flew as a battle commander on the AWACS. Were it not for fate, I would have been on that airplane. I was scheduled to fly on Yukla 27, but I decided a couple of days before that I was going to go down to Arizona and go through one of these courses where you can pick up your ATP rating or your flight engineer rating. I was already anticipating retiring from the Air Force, and I was picking up my rating so that I could fly commercially. This particular accident wasn't really a military accident. It was at a 10,000-foot runway in the United States. It could have been a 737. Bird strikes are always a possibility, and we have to do everything we can to mitigate. Your first reaction is shock. You know, it's a 4-engine airplane. Normally 4-engine airplanes can fly away if you lose 1 engine. Some cases you could probably even fly away with 2 engines out. But if you have 2 engines on the same side, and as I recall, that was the situation, nobody could recover the airplane, even when they knew it was happening. When I think back on this, you would drive around Elmendorf before this happened, and everybody, including myself, would say, oh, isn't this real, true Alaska with all these Canada geese? Aren't they kind of neat? Instead of saying, what in the world are we doing with Canada geese close to an active runway? And I'm not blaming anybody for not making that decision, but I can tell you that I'm as guilty as anybody else when I think back and we were admiring the geese that ultimately brought down this airplane. Aviation is a dangerous business, and we need to do everything we can to mitigate the risk involved. For a general aviation pilot, they ought to be thinking, don't fly at low altitude this time of year through areas that are known for bird concentration. And we need to decide how we can prevent this from ever happening again. I don't have the words to express my condolences. It's a sad thing, and you know, your husband or your son or whoever it was made the ultimate sacrifice for their countries. It's very, very important that we take the opportunity on the day of the event to do like the Air Force is going to do and think back and remember the brave people who were on the flight and the terrible tragedy that happened.